Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lexi and today we're doing another pick a card. Today's pick a card, we are doing a ego boost video because I'm a Leo. I like to hype you guys up, so we're going to be doing that for the video today. I was intending to go back up into my workroom today. However, when I do ego boost type of videos like that, I like to use fragrances and things like that because I feel like they tailor to a personality more. But I should be back up in my workroom soon. So basically the next video I'll be back up there. So yeah, I have 4 piles for you guys to choose from. So pile number 1, we have the Jadot fragrance. Pile number 2, we have the Ghost. Pile number 3, we have the YSL. And pile number 4, we have Sweet Like Candy. So see which fragrance you are drawn to. The timestamps are going to be in the description box as usual. And I will see you guys at your timestamps. Hey pile 1, welcome to your reading. So sorry guys, my voice sounds croaky. I just drank water. I just made my voice come out very weird. I don't know why. But welcome to your reading. You guys chose the Jadot perfume. I'm going to start with tarot and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. So yeah, I'm sit back and relax. I'm going to hype you up for a good 20 minutes. So let's get in. So pile number 1, please, spirit guides, tap me into the collective of my pile number 1s. I don't know why I'm being shown a pond and a duck looking down and watching all the fish swim about. Like it's like a duck looking down and seeing from like that higher perspective above the pond. Like I do want to say about you guys, I feel like you guys have always got the bigger picture. Like I'm picking up some strong Aquarius energy here. I feel like you guys are very, very innovative. I want to say you guys know trends before they happen. And sometimes you don't realize that you do it. I feel like this, because you're quite psychic like that, but it's more of like an inner knowing. So you know, like trends in like mainstream media, like for example now you could feel this urge or connection to like rock stuff, like rock music or like a rock quote unquote aesthetic, and you'll be very, very drawn there, and it's helping you maybe like connect to your inner teenager or whatever. And then you find like 2 months later everybody's like rock, everybody's like, you know, grunge and like all of that, and you're like, hang on a minute, I just started doing this and now everyone's doing that. That doesn't make sense. But I feel like it's because you guys are very innovative. I feel like, you know, when waves come in and you have like, I'm being shown like waves coming in and then you guys like a little bit more on the deeper end, so you jumping over the wave first and then people behind you jumping over it after you. Like you guys are very innovative in that sense, and I feel like you guys pick up a lot more than you realize. I think that you guys are very psychic and very aware and in tune with the currents in the 3rd dimension, because I feel like you tap into them first, connecting with like the 4th dimension, the 5th dimension. I hope that makes sense. You may have a lot of water in your chart, but I am picking up Aquarius too. I just feel like you naturally just channel and bring information through, and I want to say that you guys are very, very wise, and I feel like it's not often, at least in the current energy I tap into you with now, you might have done in the past, not so much now it feels, you very rarely get caught up in the distractions of the 3rd dimension, in the sense of you're very aware of being human and grounding and, you know, having, you know, a connection to your ego. However, I feel like, you know, like when you go on Twitter and you see a bunch of people arguing over the silliest things and like everyone's arguing their point of view. This is what I'm being shown. Like you're looking down at fish, but like I see you as a duck, because it's like, I'm not gonna argue how I see the world and how my view of the world is right, because everybody sees things through their own perception. I'm not going to bother getting caught up in that at all. It's like you're able to see beyond, and I see you guys doing that even when you were young. Like I'm seeing some of you guys as a very young child, seeing two adults maybe argue, and even being able to look at these two adults and go, that's your inner child. Maybe not understanding the term inner child, but being like, that's really childish, or you're getting triggered there, or why are you reacting like that when you don't need to? Like I feel like you guys have always been able to elevate beyond the current in the third dimension. There's something about that coming through. It's like you're able to withstand the currents in the third dimension, but you're able to see above them, which is why you got a lot of innovative messages for like your career, maybe even just styling. Like, because I see some of you guys might like to do things against the grain, like everyone's doing this, so I'm gonna do this. So then, like, say now everybody could be into like very feminine things, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna tap into masculine things, but you may be tapping into something that's about to come in. It just hasn't hit in the third dimension yet. So you start tapping into all that rock stuff, and then you go on social media, and then everyone's like starting to like you know, do like dress and like rock things, or like more masculine things, and you're like, where did that come from? I only just started doing this. Like I was trying to do something different, but it's like you were doing something different. You were tapping into the first wave of it. I hope that makes sense. Yeah. I feel like if you guys were like artists or musicians, you'd be seen as very innovative, because I feel like you'd bring in new waves of things. Like I see you guys, you know, like when Rihanna brought out those fur slides, and then every company in the world started making fur slides, like everywhere. It was just, you know, fur slides everywhere, no matter where you went, no matter what shop, no matter where in the world. Like I feel like you guys are very innovative like that. Yeah, I just see that if you guys were celebrities, but I see even in your own avenues of like career and stuff, I just see you being very innovative, and I see people getting inspired by you. And I don't think you realize how much people are getting inspired by you. I do want to say that as well, because I just see you guys being very, very innovative, even in like the littlest things. Pile number, because of that, I feel like you put people on. Like there's this feeling of you guys putting people on. Pile number, like, you know how everyone's starting to wear Uggs again, and everyone's been starting to wear Crocs over the last couple of years, but there was like a strong time period where everyone was like, oh, Uggs, ew, Crocs, ew, like in the quote-unquote mainstream, like no one cared for them. I feel like you guys were wearing them before they became like big again, and now they've started getting big again, and it's like, oh well, I'm over that now, I'm on a new thing, you know what I mean? Now I'm on cowboy boots, you know what I mean? And everyone's like, why are you wearing them? But it's you being innovative. You don't have to, in regards to like mainstream and trends, it's just something that I see you set trends without realizing it, or you tap into the first wave psychically before everyone else jumps on. I just see that for you guys. Pile number 1. I haven't even laid cards yet. Let me get the cards down, otherwise I'll just keep talking. Pile number 1. Pile number 1. Tap me into the energies of my pile number 1s. We have the 5 of Swords. Pile number 1, High Priestess. Yeah, I'm not shocked that that's there. I want to say you guys are exquisite channelers. I feel like you tap into energies, and I feel like sometimes you might not realize that that's a gift for you, because you may be thinking, oh well, I just thought this and it happened, or I just had this idea to do this and it happened. No, I feel like you get a lot of downloads. I feel like you channel a lot. Claircognizant, I never can say that word correctly, which is funny because it's one of my strongest gifts, but I feel like you guys have that pretty strong. And I also feel like you guys have like psychic visions and just psychic premonitions like that. You'll just have like an image in your mind's eye, and then it comes to fruition. I really do see that. I feel like you guys are deeply intuitive. 1 foot in the 3rd dimension, 1 foot in the 4th, 5th dimensions, and that's how you're able to pick up on waves of energy coming through before you actually bring it through. It's actually quite interesting. Pile 1. Oh, pile 1. Pile 1. We have the Knight of Swords. one more card, please, for guides. Pile 1. Pile number 1's energy, please, for guides. We have the 6 of Swords as well. And then we also have the Page of Swords at the back of the deck. You know how she's holding on to these? I don't think... Do you know who you remind me of as well? Because I want to say you're very intelligent. You remind me of Hermione Granger from Harry Potter. You know how she's just constantly saving the day, and she just has these ideas that like no matter what happens with Harry and Ron, like she'll have like this like spell to save the day, and it'll just be in her brain. I feel like you guys do that naturally. It doesn't have to be in regards to like the spiritual side, although it could be. I just feel like you always know the right thing to say. I always feel like you have really creative ideas. I feel like if you'd be like the dream person to have in like a career space, because I feel like in regards to like innovative ideas, how to advertise something, like you'd be good on The Apprentice or something. I could see you guys doing something like that. Or you guys would be really good working for yourselves or designing things, designing clothes, you know, anything where you have to create, like being like a YouTube vlogger, being like a TikToker, you know, doing fashion on, you know, Instagram or whatever. Like I just feel like you guys would be really good at that. But I keep being shown makeup and packaging. Like I feel like you guys would be very, very good at doing that, because you guys have really good visualizations and ideas. It's just kind of gold, and that's why the Page of Swords is here. She's reading the book, and then she has like all these ideas, and she's kind of holding like the light bulbs. I just think you have a lot of it's not only your soul being very creative, but with the 2 birds here, like birds are a messenger from spirit, and I do feel like your spirit team and your connection to spirit, I feel like your spirit guides give you a lot of downloads and give you a lot of messages too, and I feel like you follow that very beautifully. And I feel like you're able to, when we look here and she's holding the book, like when we put our thoughts onto paper, we bring it into the concrete. So I feel like you guys have very innovative ideas and are able to bring that into the physical. I feel like you're really good at doing that. It wouldn't shock me if you have like a mixture of like Aquarius and Capricorn, just because I feel like you're also very good at bringing things into the physical, because I feel like making moves and leaping, you know, like when I say leap and the net will appear, I feel like you guys would be very good at that, because not only are you guys able to see beyond the physical, but I feel like you guys are also able to build in the physical. And I say that because if you see on the Page of Swords, she's kind of walking on a tightrope. Now a lot of people would look and go, logically I'm not going to make that jump just in case I fall down, it's not worth it. But you guys are able to see beyond the physical, and you guys are able to harness these energies and these ideas and bring them through to make those leaps. And I feel like spirit's very strongly around you guys, very, very strongly. And the fact that I'm reading the cards this deeply, because the thing is about me, I get a lot of just like downloads. So sometimes I'll have the cards and I can see the story, but it's usually just downloads that are flowing through. But with you guys, I'm really looking at the cards, and it's because I'm tapping into your energy, and I can feel how intuitive you are and how you're able to see things in everything and see the depth and everything, but also see the shallow part. Like you're able to see both. And that's really, really interesting with you guys. I feel like you're able to just walk. Do you know in Mamma Mia, the second movie, where the mother Donna, she goes into like that abandoned farmhouse, and it's like the stairs are caving in, and it's like awful like in there, and she, even though she's walking around this abandoned warehouse, she sees the potential. And it cuts from Donna walking around this abandoned warehouse and seeing the potential to her daughter walking around the actual house when it's like renovated and done because of Donna's work, and it's beautiful. And you kind of see Donna's vision then, do you know what I mean? And the song that plays is I Have a Dream by ABBA, and I feel like you guys are able to see beyond anything, even like circumstances you've been through, harder circumstances that you've been through, and see a silver lining and turn it into gold. Very much like Alchemist energy coming through here. I feel like you guys are really good at doing that. I want to know why we have the 5 of Swords. One thing I will say about you, the reason you guys are able to turn things to gold as well, is you keep going where a lot of people give up. Like, because you're able to, like, you know that there's this picture and it's like mud, like a what's it called when you go into the mines, you know, like rocks when you go down to the mines, and it's somebody like hammering, and he gives up, but what he doesn't see is right before he gives up there's a diamond there. You guys are able to see beyond, so you are able to like not give up, because it's like, no, I can feel this, I'm gonna get there, I'm gonna get this diamond. I feel like you guys really I don't know, I feel like you guys are quite masters of the physical realm too. It could be something you're mastering in this lifetime, but the energy that I'm tapping into now, it's like I have the ideas, I have all of the creativity, I've always had that, it's in me. I'm being shown like, do you know when you have like a blend, like a punch of like loads of like fruits? I'm being shown that, but I feel like you're mastering or getting to a level of having mastered the physical realm and being able to like physically put things into motion too, which is really, really interesting. I also feel like it's really hard for people to knock you off your stride or to tell you about yourself. It might not have always been the case, but like I'm being shown with the Five of Swords as well, like people may be trying to bait you, or people from your past trying to like pull you back somewhere, or trying to maybe tell you about yourself, and I feel like maybe that's something you might have had to overcome. But I see you guys like really taking the high road, and like I said, seeing from the higher perspective and being like, that's your inner child speaking, oh, that's your shadow self speaking, oh, that's your insecurity speaking, I'm not going to take that on. Very wise, very, very wise. And I feel like you've always been like that, because you might have had like friends when you were younger where people were like trying to make like comments at you, and I feel like you're very good at like maybe having a poker face, or knowing when people are lying, or knowing when people are trying to project something onto you. And I feel like you're really good at like playing cool, but being able to be aware of things and moving strategically. I think you're very good at that, to be honest with you. Like you're very smart. That's what I will say. You're smart. I'm being shown somebody playing chess. You're very, very smart. Why do we have the Knight of Swords and the Six of Swords? Why do we have the Six of Swords? I also feel like you're very optimistic and soulful look at life, and being able to see from the higher realms and like higher perspectives. I also feel like that's really got you through a lot of your hardships in life. With the Six of Swords here, as you can see, she's on the boat and the waves are kind of like a bit crazy, but the birds are connected here and they're kind of like helping guide her, if you can see, with the strings. And I really see for you guys, you have a very tremendous connection to spirit. A very respectful connection to spirit as well, I must say, because I see a lot of spirit around you strongly, and guiding you. I feel like in every one of these cards, like what's standing out to me is the birds. So I feel like you guys are very connected to spirit, but I feel like you have a very respectful connection to spirit. Like some people, they can get into this type of work and they cannot have respect for spirit. They cannot have, sometimes they won't have respect for practices that they're, you know, working through, and they don't have, it's like they'll just chuck energy about everywhere and not really respect things. And I feel like you guys really do, and I feel like you guys really have respect for like your own soul mission or your higher self, or your, I'm being shown like somebody following their heart, and having a lot of integrity. That's the word that I'm gonna say. And I feel like spirit keep wanting to mention that you have a lot of integrity. Like there's a lot of times you could have got quote unquote revenge. There's a lot of times where you could have like done some damage and you just didn't do it. You kept your eye on the prize. There's a lot of like integrity there that I keep wanting to mention that spirit's referencing here. But I feel like every time that you've gone through some heavy experiences, like I said, you've always been able to see things from the higher perspective. Like she's got these strings attached to the bird there, and I feel like that's why you've always made your way out of, you know, situations that might have been a bit heavy for you, because I feel like I said, you've always had one foot in the physical realm, one foot in the higher realms, and I feel like that's helped you while you were going through certain experiences, not only understand the human level of like, I need to purge this wasn't fair, this was a bit effed up, let me purge this, let me cry, let me get this out, let me feel the human feelings that I'm feeling. But you also had your other leg on the spiritual side, where it was like, I can see from a higher perspective why this happened. I can see that, you know, this person treated me that way, that was their wounds, that was this, that was that. I'm not going to allow them back, but I can see, and I'm not going to take any more on than I need to. And you've been able to balance that out. I just see you guys being very, very intelligent and very wise beyond your years, being able to do that. And I think that's why you always make your way back to the shore when you go through certain experiences, because like I said, integrity, and I think you're very connected to your heart space and source, and I feel like you follow your intuition. Very beautiful connection to spirit. I'm not gonna lie, but you guys are really cool. I feel like you guys would dress really cool. I feel like you guys, like, your hair would be really cool. If you hear noise, this is my cat's probably making noise. I feel like you guys, like, the way you speak is probably very elevated and very, like, I see you guys impressing people sometimes in the way that you talk. Like, I see you having a conversation with someone and being able to see something from such a higher perspective, and somebody being like, oh wow. Like, I feel like you have people think. 100%, and I do think a lot of people look up to you, whether you realize it or not. I would say, I do want to say this to you guys though, if you guys are working for yourself and you have like a website, or like you create like your own designs, I don't know why I'm being shown soaps, if you create things for yourself and you know that like you're being innovative and you're creating from scratch, make sure that you get things like copyrighted, or you have yourself protected in that way. I do want to say that because, like I said, you are innovative, you do inspire people, but sometimes people can take that to the other extent where they'll just kind of mimic and copy, and you'll tend to find there's a lot of bigger brands that will try and mimic and copy or take the ideas of smaller brands. So make sure that you are copywriting there, if you do work for yourself in that sort of area, with like if you're making like fragrances or lotions or makeup or anything like that, clothing, make sure that you are copywriting. That's one thing that I want to say, because I just think you guys are like really artistic and creative, lots of really cool ideas, and you're able to see, I'm not gonna lie, like if you guys worked for yourself and you created things, I feel like you'd be able to see where the market was going before it went there, just psychically. So you'd be like ahead of the curve, because when things start becoming a trend, you would already have the product there ready to sell. Like, I just feel like some of you guys are really able to do that. Others of you just innovative, like that's what I'm being shown. Pile number, I don't know why I'm smelling coconut. Some of you guys may make like perfumes or soaps with coconut in, or you could be like, I'm being shown somebody with like coconut hand lotion or coconut spray. Someone could have just sprayed that. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1. We have the Maiden, a new relationship blossoms. Let me put my hair up. Sorry guys, I said this the other day. My hair at the moment has been getting on my nerves. Doesn't normally, but it has been. And I've been having to stick it up because it's just been all over. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1. Tap me inside pile number 1s. Ooh, we have the Siren. A temptation may lead you astray. I don't know why I just heard Eminem's song Seduction. Pile number 1, please, spirit guides. Pile number 1. We have the Spirit, unseen forces watch over you. I'm not shocked that's come out. I feel like you have a very strong and protective spirit team with and around you. 100%. And the back of the deck, we have the Dagger. Conflict and danger lie in wait. That's what we have at the back of the deck. I want to say, do you know, in regards to like protection and stuff, yes, of course, do your protection spiritually and stuff. However, I feel like in that area, I'm not gonna lie, there's this feeling of like you're already covered. Because when I was looking at the unseen forces watch over you, and then that card at the back of the Dagger, conflict and danger lie in wait, like you may have had people try. You may be aware that people have tried to maybe chuck some energy at you, or it could just be evil eye. Again, it's funny that I picked up Capricorn and Aquarius because they're both ruled by Saturn, and I feel like there's a strong karmic layer around you where it's like, don't bother, it's going to come back to you. Where I feel like maybe you've always felt like, I need to fall in line, I need to keep my eye on the prize. I'm not going to try and, you know, play with fire because I don't want it coming back on me. And I feel like you felt that anyway, because again, it's like a strong Saturn influence I'm picking up. But I feel like other people, if they've been like triggered or wanted to project onto you, I feel like they've tried, but it's almost like a sphere around your energy where it just bounces back. So even though I would say yes, do your protection X, Y, and Z, I feel like even if people were to send anything to you, it would bounce back, it would boomerang back. There's something about like a boomerang. You could do like boomerang spells or protection spells anyway, but I just feel like it could be from your ancestral line, or it could just be you put this protection in place before you incarnated, or again, it just could be your higher self and that energy. There's just this feeling around you like don't bother sending energy their way, don't bother doing that. There's a strong feeling of that. You're very protected with all of the birds, and then unseen forces watch over you. But they keep referencing the reason you're protected is integrity. Like there's a strong feeling of like, I know why I'm here, my eyes on what I'm here for, that's the mission, that's what I'm focused on, leave me be beyond that. Like I said, you're very wise. It's like, I'm not going to sit here and try and argue with the fishes. I'm swimming up here with the ducks. I'll look down occasionally, but I'm not going to go down there unless I need to, and I'm not going to take a fight with the fishies. I'm not going to do that. There's a strong vibe there, which is spiritually coming through, like, yeah, no, you incarnated for this. Your focus is on that. Don't worry about anything else. And I think you feel that strongly, which is quite interesting. Yeah, that's actually really interesting. I would want to go deeper into that, but we're already like 25 minutes in. Let me know in the comments down below if you'd like a reading on, because that's really interesting. Let me know down below in like if you'd like a reading on maybe like how your spirit guides like view you, or your higher self's like mission, or anything pertaining to that, because or like your soul's mission, you know, like there's something like that coming through that I almost feel like I want to explore. There could be messages there too, but I'm gonna keep with the topic here, otherwise I'll go on for about 40 minutes. But yeah, the siren of temptation may lead you astray, and with the new relationship blossoms as well. I don't think sometimes you guys realize how attractive you are, and how many people actually find you very attractive and are very interested in you in that way. I feel like sometimes you don't even realize it. Do you remember I said you got your eye on the prize a lot? I feel like you guys may be a little bit serious, especially when it comes to like, oh, I'm gonna create here, and I'm gonna, you know, build here, and I'm gonna grow from here, and I'm gonna see things from the higher perspective. I feel like sometimes you don't see where people may be trying to make a pass at you, or people may be trying to like come into your energy, because there's this level of seriousness. I'm not gonna lie. And I feel like sometimes you may have dealt with people that have like love bombed, but I feel like people just get excited by your energy and by you in general. I just feel like you guys are very cool, very innovative. I feel like you have a lot to say. I feel like your energy is very fresh and fun, that I almost feel excited. Like there's this feeling from other people that would be like connected to you in like a romantic way, and it's like, I'm excited, like I can't, you know, I'm excited to be here sort of thing, and people kind of get wrapped up. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of people that think back to you. I think there's a lot of people that are very drawn to you, and like we say about like sirens, like they're in the water, they're in a whole other world, they go very deep into the water. And I just feel like a lot of people may sometimes even look at you as a little bit of forbidden fruit. Like you may have people that from your past that, you know, aren't able to come back into your life, or maybe that, you know, in other partnerships or whatever, and it's almost like I'm looking at you as forbidden fruit, like you were like otherworldly in a way. I do feel like people look at you like that, because like I said, when I tapped into you from spirit's perspective, it's like you're a duck sitting on the water and there's fishes below, and you're the first one to hit that wave. But I feel like from people's perspective, from like a three-dimensional perspective, it's like, oh, you're very otherworldly, you're very colourful, you're like a mermaid or a fairy, like a dragon, I don't know, like you're very like that, you know. That's how people would look at you from that perspective. But yeah, your energy is like really, really interesting. I feel like you're very connected to spirit. I feel like you're so wise beyond your years, very intelligent. I feel like you have the best creative ideas. I feel like you're the most innovative people. So innovative. If you don't have like a TikTok or a YouTube or Instagram, or you're not creating things, but you know you want to, don't hold yourself back. I feel like you guys, yeah, you guys would be onto something there. I feel like you guys would make really good like influencers and photographers and artists and musicians and CEO creators. I don't know, like you guys would be very good at stuff like that. So yeah, pile number 1, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching, and hopefully I will see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey pal 2, welcome to your reading. So we are going to be doing an ego boost video where I'm going to hype you up for the next 20 to 25 minutes. As I began to open it up, Veda decided to jump on the bed, so he is with us and he is going to help us bring some messages through. Aren't you, Veda? So you guys chose the ghost perfume. I'm going to start with tarot and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. So let's get in. So pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Pile number 2, tap me into the collective of my pile number 2s. I'm being shown like a very big butterfly. Normally when I'm shown butterflies from spirit, I'm shown like a bunch of little ones like fluttering around, but I'm literally being shown like a massive one. So I don't know if somebody has like a painting of one on their wall, or they're painting one right now, or they may like have like art around or they've drawn one. I don't know. I'm just being shown like a massive, very big butterfly in front of me. Pile number 2, please, spirit guides. Tap me into the collectives of my pile number 2s. Your thoughts are so deep and I'm obsessed. I'm not gonna lie, like when I'm tapping into you guys, I'm going into your brains, I'm going into your minds, I'm going into your feelings. And I don't know if you ever saw them. I hope I'll be able to explain it correctly. And this is right up my street. I'm an Aquarius moon. Anything that I can read into, go deep, all that, love it. You know them, it was like a toy from the 2000s and it was like a ball. I think it was plastic, but inside there was like a little pinball, like a little tiny ball inside this big ball, and there was like a maze inside this plastic ball and you had to get the ball all the way through, and there was like little traps, like trap doors, and you'd go like up and down and you had to move the ball around to try and get this ball around, and it would take ages. It was kind of like a more complex Rubik's Cube / maze. I don't know. That's how I felt tapping into your brains and I got excited. I feel like you guys are very intelligent. I think that your thoughts are very intricate and deep. I think that you guys, people only see the half of you. You know, like how we can only see like one side of the moon? It's like that. That's what I'm picking up. Like I feel like it would be hard for anyone to say, oh yeah, I know, like people could say, oh, I know my pile number 2s, but they don't know you. Let's be real. They don't know you because you guys are just very, and you're growing and evolving and there's more layers, and then you're activating new parts. You're getting rid of other parts because they're being transformed. So it's like, even if I did get to know a version of you next week, that version went. Like you are constantly evolving and growing. And I feel like some of you guys may live, like, I wouldn't even say you live in your shadow. I just feel like you guys are very comfortable with your shadow. Like I feel like you guys can feel very dark emotions but not let them overtake you, which is really interesting. You guys may be what I like to call like shadow workers, where you guys are just, you've met your shadow a lot of times, you've delved into the subconscious, so you're able to tap into that with other people and bring light there. I feel like some of you guys are that, but I also feel like you guys are aware of, yeah, I keep being shown you guys passing through emotions and just observing them and being aware of them, not letting them overtake you, knowing that when you're purging and you're crying, something heavy is just being processed, you're aware of it, and it's just like, oh, this is just coming through. Very emotionally intelligent, super emotionally intelligent. Yeah, I'm gonna get in. Let's put some cards down. So pile number 2. Pile number 2, tap me into the collectives of my pile number 2s. you make people feel very seen. Like, you make people feel extremely seen. And I feel like when people have been loved by you or really felt your emotions, when you've like connected with people on that level, it's very hard to shake people off. I feel like you have people that still think back to you. I feel like you may have triggered things in people where they still think of you. And I feel like you're just able to go very deep with people, very emotionally deep, you know, and you may have triggered some people, but I feel like you're able to touch people where they haven't been touched before in that sense. You know, you help people's inner child feel seen. You help people's shadow self feel seen and not ashamed. Like, you help people gain control over sort of like feelings like that. And sometimes just by being you. Sometimes it's not by what you're bringing up in somebody else. It's just you owning a part of yourself. It's really, really interesting. There's an unreleased song by Halle Bailey. If you don't know who Halle Bailey is, she's the one that played Ariel in The Little Mermaid. And I've played the snippet a lot. She hasn't released it. And I'll link it in the description box for you guys. But she sings the lyrics, "After me, you'll never fall in love again." And I can't remember much more of the lyrics, but it's just this very siren-y, deep song where she's basically singing like, when you fall in love with me, that's it. Like, we're gonna go very deep. Like, it's a deep kind of love. Like, it's very deep, but I just feel like you guys, you bring that. I feel like you guys are very, very seductive. I feel like people find you very alluring. Very like a siren. It's kind of like, are you gonna come deep with me? Can you face the depth? Can you get there? Yeah, pile number 2. Tap me into my pile number 2's energy so I can give them an ego boost. I also want to say, there are people like you, by the way. There are people that have reach the depths that you have. There are people that have met the darkness that you have. There are people that think like you. There are people that feel like you. I know sometimes it might be a little bit isolating, especially if you're able to feel things very deeply. And you may think, when is somebody going to be able to see my depth? They'll come. But I feel like a lot of you guys in your earlier life may have to learn, like, I see a lot of you guys, part of your world area, like, coming up to the surface. You guys made me, I feel like you guys are my water pile. I feel like I've sussed you out quite quickly. I feel like you guys have come up to the surface a lot and kind of tailored your frequency to others to relate. Maybe just because that was maybe what some of you guys learned in childhood. Maybe you learned to tailor your energy to other people and other people's needs. But I think the more that you learn boundaries and the more you kind of like return to your home kind of state, I feel like you're drawing in the people that are right for you. Because I see that you guys have a tremendous depth to you. I feel like you're able to see things in depth. And you may have even had people say, oh, you're thinking too deeply into this. And I don't think that's the case. I feel like that's the beauty of you. I feel like you're able to see and feel things to such a deep capacity, which is actually very beautiful, even if some people have tried to project and tell you that it's a burden. And I feel like as you grow and evolve, you're getting used to that. And it's, I keep being shown like a very fluid energy coming through. You're owning your power, and because of that, you're more, it's like, I've got heightened intuition, I'm getting more premonitions. It's like I'm speaking things into existence. I'm very much aligned with like divine feminine energy. I see you guys, that being your center and core, like that being your energy and frequency that you naturally reside in. And I feel like you're coming into a phase now where you're no longer feeling like a fish out of water, you know. I feel like you're understanding that frequency and understanding the beauty in all of these depths, you know. So we have the star. Let me get, oh, we have another one here as well. We have the Empress. I'm not shocked that the Empress has come through. Pile number 2. Oh, your heart as well. I feel like you're able to feel and love very deeply. I feel like you see a lot of love and beauty in a lot of things, in nature, in animals, even in people, you know what I mean? And people can be scary. People, you know, people can be mean, and I feel like you're able to see that depth, but I feel like you've also learned to see the shadow in things too. But oh, I really just want to focus on your heart a minute, because I think you are such beautiful souls. I feel like you have so much love to give. I feel like there's so much, like I'm being straight away taken to your heart space, and there's all of these feelings, and I just feel love. Like I'm being shown like an octopus and like tentacles everywhere, and I just have love for everything, beyond everything, and it's like that's where I'm residing naturally, which is really, really beautiful. Another song I'm hearing is My Love by Lyran. She was in Little Mix, and she sings something like I'll be your home, I'll be your kingdom, and then she's like, my love, not a heart on earth can beat my love. Like that's how she sings. I just think I see like a strong divine feminine energy in heart space, and I don't think you realize how beautiful your depths are. I don't think you realize it sometimes. I think sometimes you see it as a burden. Like I feel too much, there's too much depth. But there's going to be people that come in, Six of Pentacles, you know, that are able to explore that with you because they've met their own depths too. I just think for some time you had to learn to fall back into your own energy and you know, stay in your own frequency rather than tailor to people around you. But because I feel like in the past you had to learn to do that, I feel like you saw your own depth and energy as a burden when it wasn't. I feel like that's something that you've been evolving and growing through. I feel like that's why you're always growing and evolving, because you're doing shadow work, you're coming back home. Two of Pentacles here as well. Page of Pentacles at the back of the deck. Okay, the Star, the Empress, the Six of Pentacles, and the Two of Pentacles. One thing I will say, because I'm seeing it here, you guys really are learning boundaries and settling back into your energy. You may have, like, throughout your childhood or teen years or 20s, 30s, however long, I feel like you guys tailor to other people's frequencies, and I feel like you've been learning to step back into your own energy, step back into your own frequency, and really take your power back like that. And I don't think you realize, like, I see a lot of people standing then by the shore, and it's just like, I didn't realize what I had until it had gone. I wasn't given what I could have given. I feel like a lot of people have seen your worth before you realized it yourself. I feel like a lot of people have seen your power, I want to say, before you saw it yourself. I feel like a lot of people I've seen your heart and seen your goodness before you were able to realize the weight of it yourself. And I feel like this transformation that I'm seeing in your energy, I feel like there may have been certain people that didn't want it to happen for you, but not because they didn't like you. And I think this is where maybe sometimes you've internalized some feelings. It wasn't because they didn't like you that they didn't want you to grow and evolve. They loved your energy, you know, and they were probably getting it for free. They knew they couldn't have returned that back. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't want this person to pull that energy back. I don't want this person to put those boundaries in. And I feel like as you're attracting back into the ocean and coming back into your energy, I feel like people are really starting to see you, you know, as you're starting to really understand yourself and your depths and your power there. That's what I'm getting with the Six of Pentacles and this Two of Pentacles here. I feel like you've grown and evolved so much, and you keep growing and you keep evolving, and I think that's really awe-inspiring. And I think you do uplift, and you have a lot of people look up to you, because I feel like you've been through some things. I feel like you've gone through your own darkness, and I feel like people are aware of that. So there's actually there's pride around you, and there's a lot of like, oh wow. And I don't think you realize it. And this is from people that may have been like friends in the past, maybe people you don't speak to, partners. I see a lot of people like, oh wow, because I keep being shown a very beautiful period of growth. And that's why I was being shown the butterfly transformation. I feel like people know, you know how we can see a caterpillar and we know that that caterpillar is going to turn into a butterfly, but that caterpillar probably doesn't realize it yet. I feel like people have seen you as a caterpillar and known you were going to turn into a butterfly, or felt that you were going to, or felt that you had that potential, but you didn't see it because you were just a little caterpillar on the floor, just, you know, getting through life. And then I feel like as you turn into that butterfly, I see like a butterfly flying in the air, and it's like, oh, they're far away now. Like I'm seeing that, like there's a very beautiful transformation you've gone through. Maybe you've gone through dark night of the soul, Maybe you've been doing a lot of shadow work. Maybe you've grown from a lot of hardships. And I don't want to say for the ego boost, oh wow, you guys are really strong, especially when you had no other choice to be strong. Sometimes I don't really see that too much as a compliment, because it's like I didn't have any choice. But I think that you guys have so much resilience within you, and I feel like you guys have such a beautiful heart. And I also feel like there's time periods where you could have easily, in your own darkness, similar to pile number 1, retaliated, or you could have, you know, when people might have tried to kick you when you were down or taken from you, you could have really bounced back. You really could have said some things. You really could have even turned dark within yourself, and you didn't do that. You know what I mean? You kept connected to your heart space. So I want to say, if anyone's ever projected anything onto you, because you're going to get people that probably project onto you as you attract back into the ocean, into your real frequency. If anyone's ever projected anything onto you or chucked anything onto you, please don't listen. Please don't listen, because there's so many times you could have turned dark. There's so many times you could have done, you know, you could have got back at people, retaliated, and you didn't. I feel like you literally just were like, you know what, I'm just going to transform and come back to my energy. I think that's so beautiful. So beautiful. And I feel like the more you're settling into this depth and understanding your depths and having love for your depths and how deep you can see things, I feel like that's where you're able to shine this light out. And I feel like other, you know, other little sirens and mermaids or whatever are going to be able to see you and kind of flow with that energy. Full of wisdom. It's like a whale, you know, like whales are like, they're able to go really deep, and they've probably seen a lot. Very full of wisdom. That's what you remind me of. I feel like you guys are born healers too, and I feel like you've been learning boundaries in this lifetime. I also feel like you guys are very Venusianly attractive. I don't know if you're like Libra rising, Taurus rising. There's like a Venusian vibe here. Or like a lunar vibe here. You know what I mean? I literally just shared Cancer moon. You could have moon in your first house. It could be a Cancer rising as well. You could have Venus in your first house. There's like a lunar and Venusian vibe to your beauty. No matter the gender, I'm just picking that up. And again, do you know how the tide can pull people in? I feel like your energy naturally resides in like a divine feminine state. Doesn't matter the gender, it's just an energy. I think that's your strongest frequency, and I think you don't realize, and I think you're going to start to realize it as you, because I keep being shown like someone retracting back into the sea. As much as you've been a giver and you've been able to pour into people, I think you're going to notice people pouring into you. You're going to notice people offering you things, offering to do things to you, buying you things. Like, you're going to see a lot of people chasing you, you know, maybe wanting to give you readings, wanting to give you free things. Like, a lot of things just falling into place for you, and a lot of people are more chasing you in that way as you settle into your energy, because you have a very seductive energy, and I want to pour into you. You know, I want to protect and pour into you. That's the feeling I'm getting when I tap into you. So, you know, like I say, like a little like sea urchin, it has a shell to protect it, a rose has a thorn to protect it, vice versa. Like, I just feel like there's a natural feel like I want to pour into you or protect you in that way. Yeah, I think that you guys feel very warm as well, like you feel like home. That's another beautiful thing I want to say, because there's like a motherly vibe to you with that lunar energy. Like, you feel like home, like you feel fierce. It's fierce. It's not like this submissive like hee, like, no, it's fierce, because the feminine is fierce, but it's like, I feel safe, I feel comforted by you, I feel nurtured, I feel like you're able to reach my depths, and it's like I feel safe in revealing that to you, you know. That's a vibe that I get from you. Another thing, I feel like some of you guys smell really good. I feel like you guys smell really, really nice. I don't know why I'm smelling like a male's cologne. Some of you guys may wear like a male's cologne. I'm smelling that. I'm smelling lemons, like citrusy smells. And then I'm smelling like icing, like I'm making a cake, like icing. You may cook a lot. Your home could be very beautiful too. That's one thing that I want to say. I see people walking around your home and going, that bathroom's the nicest bathroom I've ever been to. Because I feel like with you guys, I feel like whatever you pour energy into, it takes on like your aura, like your energy and your frequency. So like when you decorate or you create in your home, or you make something feel homely, or you make food, like, you know, you make like meals or cakes or whatever, it's like your energy goes into it. So it tastes divine, or it smells divine, or it looks divine, and it's like it's got your essence attached, you know. So there's something about that as well. But there's like definitely like a fragrance, like I'm smelling like a vanilla. You know, the Body Shop has that vanilla spray. I'm smelling that, or like Ariana's Mod vanilla spray. Like I'm smelling like a vanilla-y smell too. Yeah. Let's pull your oracle cards. Wait, there we've got the Page of Pentacles at the back of the deck. What? Do you guys like do you guys collect like random things? Like I don't know why, I just looked at that Page of Pentacles and I felt like I have something of value in my home. It could be your energy where like you're a rare gem and people just feel naturally like you're a rare gem and you're like of value. So I want to hold on to you. This is why I feel like in the past you've had people that have almost like known you were a gem but didn't feel ready for you, so tried to put you on a shelf. And it's like, well, I'm collecting dust, you're not really paying me attention. Because you don't quite know how to handle me. And you may have felt like a little bit used. I feel like this may help you guys get over something. There's situations in your life where you felt used by people, and your feelings are valid, so purge and feel into that when you need to, because your feelings are very valid. But from their perspective, I feel like they saw you as something like, it's like you're a gem. I'm not seeing you as something that's disposable. I'm seeing you as something like, I don't think I'm gonna get that again. But it's like, maybe I'm not ready for it, maybe I don't know what to do with it. Maybe it's like that you know, expensive wine that I don't want to drink it every day because I can't afford to buy another bottle. So I'm going to keep it on my shelf. I'm just going to leave it there for a while until I'm ready to drink it and I can buy more bottles of it. It's like, that's how I see people looking at you. And I feel like that may help, especially if you felt like insecure about people not stepping up to the plate in regards to maybe relationships or friendships with you. It's not that. It's almost like, I'm not ready to come with the same mirrored energy yet. Like, I'm not ready to feel confident in owning this yet. Or I'm scared to fumble it in case, you know, because I can't buy another one yet. You know, it's that type of vibe. I want to get that out. But I also want to say, some of you guys may like collect things. You give me Ariel vibes so much. You know, when she goes down into a little layer and she has forks and what does she have down there? She has all the like humanly artifacts down there. You guys may collect things like that. You may like travel and collect things and bring them home. You may collect ornaments. You know, there's something about that. It could be even like in your home, you could have like furniture that's like statement pieces and it's like they're one of a kind and rare. You just give off those vibes, guys. I'm not gonna lie. You give off like a rare vibe. Selena Gomez's song Rare is like in my head. I'm so rare. Pile number, you're like I don't know why I want to reference you like a pearl in an oyster. And the reason I'm saying that as well is Luna, my cat, she's no longer a kitten, she acts like a kitten. She loves my dream catchers, right? And I have this pink one that my nan had bought for me, and it has little beads on it, little pink beads. And she chews it, hangs off it, all of the above. And I can see in front of me, there's like a little bead on the floor, which is making me think of like a pearl. The way I would describe you is like a pearl, like very precious, you know? Very, very precious, but you have that shell to protect you. Yeah. Pile number... You're able to pick up things that people are working through before they realize they're working through it. like you're able to, you're like an energy reader, you're clairsentient, and I think that you're able to, like someone will tell you something, but you can see what they're not saying or what they're ashamed to say or what's hurting them, or you can see like someone's upset about like a relationship, but you can see where the trigger's coming from before they've even told you. You're able to feel it, and it's like, oh yeah, I know what you're going through. Been there. Was there a long time ago. I've worked through that. Pile number 2. Pile number 2, please, for guides. We have authority and diplomacy, the king. Pile 2. We have true love and fidelity. I was just realising, I've got my flask here because I had tea and it's got a whale on it. And I was saying you guys remind me of whales. It has a little whale on it. True love and fidelity. I'm not shocked that card came out because, like I said, you've got very big hearts, very beautiful hearts. But the thing is, like, people can have big hearts, but they may not be connected to the shadow, so they're only seeing half a side. It's like the moon here. Like, we can look at the moon, but we're not going to really fully understand the moon until we see the dark side of it too. And I feel like you guys have seen the dark side or can see the deeper, darker side. And there's like no fear there, you know? With the true love and fidelity thing, it's like you see people's light and darkness. You see it all, which may, you know, trigger people sometimes, but I feel like it also protects you in having people around you that aren't at the same frequency. Because if people get triggered, it's like, okay, you can't withstand these depths, but there's people that are able to and are able to show you the light in the dark. So it's like, I see yours too, you know? And I feel like those are the type of people you're supposed to be around or have in your life. We have winds of change. Your surroundings will undergo transition. And the back of the deck, we have earth. Utilize logic, reason, and common sense. Okay. Authority and diplomacy, true love and fidelity. You're very authentic. I feel like you can't fake anything. It's like, no, this is me. And I feel like although you're able to tailor into other people's energy, I feel like you keep a very authentic face to you, if that makes sense. Very loving. You're so loving. I don't think you realize how much you make people feel better. And I know this is an ego boost video, but that's why I feel a little bit sad, because I feel like you don't realize how good you make people feel. I don't think you realize how loved you make people feel. I don't think you realize how much you big people up. I don't think you realize it, and how much people like really do appreciate you. I think because you stand at face value and you say things openly, I feel like other people sometimes they may be too scared to say something, or they're not good with an emotion, and I feel like you guys then may think, oh, am I too much, am I this, am I that, and you're not. You're really not. I feel like you help people, but I do think you attracting into this energy and holding these boundaries up is going to kind of create a gate for other people to be like, okay, I'm going to give you this energy back in return, because I like you being part of my life, or I'm going to meet you halfway. But I also think it's going to have other people be like, oh, you know, I'm able to go this deep and kind of align with that, because it's like you're not going to the show anymore. It's really, really interesting. I feel like I'm not gonna lie, your energy is going to keep shifting for a little while longer, because we have the winds of change here. Your surroundings will undergo a transition. I feel like you're currently going through a transformation. I don't think you've peaked yet. I think you're retracting into the ocean, but I don't think that you're fully there in your total frequency yet. I think that you're still tapping into that, and I think as it happens, there's a lot that's aligning for you, but I don't think you're at the end of that blooming phase yet, to be honest with you. I think that you're still returning home and wading through like I'm being shown like the ocean bed, and it's like you're returning and picking pieces up that you lost. I actually think you're in a very transformative phase right now, still transforming. Like we have the waning crescent, you know, moon shape here. I think you're still doing that, to be honest with you, which is why I haven't had too many solid pieces yet. because I feel like you're in this transformational phase, and you've been pouring that beautiful light back into you, which is so beautiful, which is why I think I felt the need to be like, if people are projecting onto you, let them say what they need to say. Let them talk. Let them say what they need to say. I think you're such a beautiful light. Why do we have authority and diplomacy? I think a lot of people look up to you more than you realize. Authority and diplomacy. I think you guys are very psychic too. I feel like you guys would have very good, like, strong premonitions. Like psychic now. Like psychic. Visions. Prophecies. Psychic dreams. I think that you guys are quite talented lucid dreamers as well. Good at... I see somebody, like, waking up and being like, what on earth was last night? Because you had like 8 hours sleep, but you didn't feel like you were asleep because you remember walking around your house and you remember going to the stores and you remember doing all of these things, and it's like, but I didn't do that. That was in my dream. You did do it, just in another realm, and you remember it very strongly, and you feel like, oh, I'm tired. Like, I'm really tired because I really didn't get much sleep. And then someone's like, I saw you like a bunch of times, you were asleep like all through the night, and you're like, yeah, I was asleep, but energetically I was popping up in people's dreams. You know, I feel like you guys are very good at working through the realms. I feel like you guys would be very good, like, shamanic healers and stuff as well. Very much so. Very connected to, you know, the realms like that. I will say as well, especially if you're feeling really tired the next day, you can put boundaries in with spirit and ask your spirit guides to close you down before you go to sleep, so that you can have some rest, because nighttime is for rest and we do need rest. So if you're finding like you're lucid dreaming a lot and it's a bit much, you can ask your spirit guides to shut you down, and have those boundaries there. I always say sometimes before I go to sleep, you know, can you help me close down, because I'll get so many downloads in REM state, like it's crazy, and sometimes I can't sleep because they're just all coming through, and I'm like, right, let's stop this now. So you can put boundaries in there, just a little reminder. But yeah, you're on it. That's why I saw the butterfly at the beginning. I feel like you're currently in the midst of change and transformation, and I think you're grounding back into your true essence, kind of on a pathway home, which is really beautiful. Yeah, I think you're currently in a transformative phase, making your way home, which is really beautiful. So pile number 2, that is what I have for you guys. I know it went a little bit off topic, but that's what came through. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching, and hopefully I will see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey Pal 3, welcome to your readings. So we are doing an ego boost video. I will be hyping you guys up for the next 20 to 25 minutes. So you guys chose the YSL perfume. I'm going to start with tarot, and then we're going to move on to your oracle cards. So let's get in. So pile number 3, please, spirit guides. Pile number 3. Tap me into the collective of my pile number 3s. Tap me in to the collective of my pile number 3s. We have the Knight of Pentacles. That card came out quite quickly, didn't it? Pile number 3. Tap into the collective of my pile number 3s. I'm really grounding as I get into your energy. I just came from pile 2 and we kind of went deep into the ocean, whereas I feel here we're kind of getting deep into the forest, like we're really rooting, we're grounding in. Pile number 3. I keep being shown Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter. 8 of Pentacles. So Knight of Pentacles, 8 of Pentacles. Pile number 3, please, spirit guides. Pile number 3, please, spirit guides. Tapping into my pile 3's energy, we have the Ace of Swords. You may have a lot of Virgo in your chart. Pile number 3. And we have have the Queen of Wands as well. You may resonate with being a little bit of the underdog. The reason I'm saying that is because we have the High Priestess reversed at the back of the deck, but what I'm actually getting with that is I think the fact that I was seeing Luna Lovegood as well, I think that if you've ever watched Harry Potter, Luna's actually very intelligent, very sweet, sees things from a bit of a different perspective than everybody else, and she definitely stands out. But for the most part, because of what she says and because of the way she says it, it's so different that people don't get her. And they kind of project onto her that she's a bit silly or she's a bit up in the clouds. And that's not the case at all if you actually like read the books and if you actually watch the movies. Like, that's not Luna at all. She's actually very sweet. She's able to see things differently. She's been through a lot, which you wouldn't naturally project onto her. And I feel like that's you guys. I feel like sometimes you can feel a bit misunderstood. And I feel like sometimes you may feel like I'm a bit of an underdog. People don't really get me. But I also think that's your power at the same time. Because it has you operate in plain sight. It has you move in plain sight. And I think that with the Knight of Pentacles and the Eight of Pentacles, how do I put this into words? Okay, so I've had this visualization before, so I might have said it to you before. Imagine there's a group of you and you're looking for diamonds in the ground. But you know all of these facts. Like, you're very intelligent the way your brain's wired. So it's like everybody's looking in the most obvious places for these diamonds into the ground, or they're trying to make their life easier by hacking away at something that's already been hacked at to try and get these diamonds. But like, I'm seeing you with your feet like being able to feel like an undercurrent or something and going, I'm gonna hack here. And I see people looking at you and going, why on earth would you do that? That's so like silly. Like, that's such a silly place to look. Why on earth would they be there? But you know something, or you can feel something that other people don't. So you start hacking there, you fall into like a gold mine or a crystal mine or whatever it is. Like, you fall into it. It's all there. And it's all yours because you followed that intuition. And then people are like, oh my God, how did you do that? And you may have people say, oh my God, sly. You're not sly. It's not that. It's just that sometimes people run before they can walk. And I think that sometimes, and I'm going to say this about you, you may think you're very airy, or you may have had people project onto you that you're a bit ditzy and you're a bit airy. No, I think you're wired quite correctly, because I rooted in to tap into you. And when I'm thinking of finding this diamond under this ground, I'm feeling my feet and my soles tapping into like the electrolytes, or I think that's what they're called, like in the mud and in the earth, and I'm feeling my way that way. I'm listening into a rhythm and following that rhythm to get somewhere that other people are looking over because they're like the hare and I'm moving like the tortoise. And all of a sudden I've got something of substance, and other people would tell me I was being silly, but in actuality I've now got something of substance here. And I think you're very, very intelligent like that, and I think it's good that you're the underdog sometimes, because I think that it allows you to move in peace sometimes. Like, it allows you to move in peace where people aren't then projecting onto you or trying to pull you off a path. And I also think, you know, you are somebody that could very easily gloat about things like, look what I did, look, you know, look what I've done, or look what's in my mind, or whatever. And you don't. And I think that kind of like people misunderstanding you sometimes, or people like projecting the wrong thing onto you sometimes, they're people that if they knew what was going on in your mind, they might try and take from you or use you. And I think you may have looked at it as like a bad thing sometimes, like me being an underdog or me not being understood in this situation is a bad thing. But in actuality, I feel like it's protected you, because the right people would get what you're picking up anyway. The right people would get what you were putting down anyway. And it's actually ushered away the wrong kind of people. I'm not gonna lie, that's what's coming through here. Knight of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles. I think you guys are very sweet. I do want to say that about you guys. You're actually very, very sweet. And I don't think you judge people anyway. I feel like you guys vouch for the underdog too, because you know what it's like to feel like the underdog or to be the underdog. Sorry guys, I dropped my water on the floor. I feel like you guys know what it's like to be the underdog there. And I feel like you guys are not someone... This is the thing. Like, I don't know why I'm going into the Harry Potter world. I don't know if you guys like Harry Potter, but I'm being taken to the Fantastic Beasts side. And there's a character called Newt. May have described you as him before. And he's like one of the main characters of those movies. And he kind of moves about by himself. And he looks after like these magical creatures. And they're creatures that are like misunderstood. And people fear, they try to chain up, and he looks after them. He has like a little briefcase and he looks after them in his briefcase, and it's really sweet. I feel like your idea of abundance, wealth, happiness is a lot different to maybe what people around you or people that you were growing up around would see. And then I think as those people get further on in life, they look back and be like, you know what, they were on to something. They were actually on to something there, you know? Like you could have gone through certain experiences that people thought, oh, well, that's awful, wouldn't like to go through that. But it made you wise in areas. It made you grow in areas. It made you develop in areas in which you were able to then catapult and use to kind of get ahead. Not because you were trying to get ahead, just because you... just because that was your path and that was the way you were walking and you were listening to your intuition. Whereas people could have been looking at you and going, ha, they're going down a wrong turn, or that's stupid, they're going through a wrong turn. Or maybe with the Eight of Pentacles, you know, the different phases of the moon, people may have seen you in different phases and go, oh, going down the wrong turn, they're not going to recover from that, but you do. And as you see, you know, this lady's got the candle, she's got books, she's got plants, she's got crystals, all these different avenues of wisdom. And, you know, even with the Knight of Pentacles and all these pentacles here behind, it's like, I feel like you've developed so many stages of yourself. I feel like you've developed so much wisdom that you're able to see things from such a different perspective. And I feel like where people would easily count something out, you're able to see gold in it. And I think that's such a beautiful thing. I think your mind's really interesting with this Ace of Swords here. I think you're very clued on. And what's interesting is I think that people that are more ignorant or prone to being a bit ignorant, I feel like they not think you were very clued on. Like I see you setting up like a business thing on the side, or moving into like working for yourself or doing something, and people aren't even aware that you're doing it, and then you just pop out with it because you're not trying to show people like, hi guys, look what I'm doing. It's just like, no, I'm building this. You may have like Mars in Cancer, you may have Mars in Scorpio, may have Mars in Aquarius. Yeah, I'm going to say them. You don't have to. It's just... You may have Virgo, Scorpio, Aquarius and Cancer in your chart. Pisces as well, I would say. You may have Neptune in your first house. I see a lot of people, or you may have Neptune in your 10th house or your 7th house. I see there's things you've looked at and you've looked at them as a burden, but they've protected you so much. And it's to do with people projecting or not truly seeing you. And it was actually a good thing that those people didn't see you. Because the right people have always seen you. But I think you've been very protected like that. You honestly, you remind me of Newt from Fantastic Beasts. If you've never watched Fantastic Beasts, I feel like you'd be very drawn to the main character, Newt. Because you're very sweet souls, and I feel like you really understand people. Where people will count people out, or like, or, you know when you see people and they're going through hardships, and like, you don't, like, people don't understand, you know, when people deal with like addictions and stuff and people project, but people don't know. Like I always hate when people say about like people that don't have a home, and people will say, oh, well, you know, why did they drink and why did they do that? And it's like, have you ever spent nights out in the cold? If you drink and, you know, and you're out in the cold, you might not be able to feel that cold, then if you actually hear people's stories, it's like they say, I don't want to drink, I don't want to do these things, but when I'm out in the cold and I don't want to feel that cold, it helps me get through the night. And it's like, unless you've been in that situation, don't judge it. And I feel like you're somebody that just really doesn't judge like that. I really do see that. And I feel like you've gone through experiences too where you've been judged. It's like, okay, you can judge me, but you don't know why I've moved this way or why I've gone this way. Yeah, I feel like you're also someone that's gone through a lot, and people may have projected onto you like a version of you that isn't true. And I feel like you've had to work through that and be like, that's what you projected on me, it's fine. Because I keep being shown Luna from Harry Potter, where they called her Loony Lovegood, but she was actually very smart and just saw things differently. And if anything, she was very free in that movie, you know, very free, very sweet soul, and saves the day a lot too. And she wasn't what people were projecting onto her at all, if you actually look at it. So and I think people realize that as they move through life and look back and go like, oh my god, you know what I mean, oh my god, you're a lot. And I feel like people get to know you as well and be like, you're a lot different than what I expected you to be. Like, oh, I didn't expect to see this side of you, or I didn't expect to see that part of you, you know. Like, you could maybe come across as very sweet and angelic, and then people would not think that you could stand up for yourself, but you can. Maybe you had to stand up for yourself a lot of your earlier life, you know what I mean, you've been through that, but you don't need to like raw every time you see something you don't like, you know. You're able to move through in like in a lighter way, and people might not think, because people sometimes will project. I see a lot of hair on the tortoise here, which is quite interesting. But yeah, I see like your version, like you could be somebody that really values like authenticity and truth and love and family, and then people are like, why aren't they pushing for X, Y, and Z? Why aren't they trying to be like cool, and why aren't they trying to be like this, and why aren't they trying to be like that? But as those people get older and grow and have life experiences, it's like, actually you were really on to something, you know. And I feel like that's you guys. I also feel like you guys, because I'm being shown like society's here, but I'm building my own life here. I'm dancing to the beat of my own drum, I'm listening to my own rhythm, and then I see people kind of going, oh, I could never do that, or why are they doing that? But then almost like looking through like a telescope, being like, oh, I wish I could do that, I wish I could do that. Because I'm seeing this girl with the Queen of Wands, and she's creating magic at her hands, but it's like I see people like, oh, I wish I could be that free, I wish I could, you know, I wish when that person was talking about starting up that business, that I started the business that I wanted to, but instead I didn't, and I was projecting onto that person not to do it, so I didn't do it, but then that person still did it, and now they're making like maybe a lot of money, whereas I cared about what people would have to say, and I was projecting, and now even if I wanted to do it now, I'd have to wait a while for that to come into abundance. That person saw differently. Like the way your brain is wired, and I feel protective of you, because I feel like people have projected onto you that you're ditzy, or that you're airy, or that you live in your own world, and I don't think that's true. I think you're very rooted in. I just think maybe as far as like the fast-paced matrixy vibe, you bring your own awareness and your own tailored energy in. It's like, yeah, I'll come into this matrixy vibe, I've got to master the physical realm, it's fine, but I'm bringing my frequency in. I'm moving my own way, you know. You can climb up the ladder if you want. I'm gonna climb up the snake, you know, because like I'm gonna do it my way. And then people are like, oh, their head's up in the clouds, why aren't they climbing the ladder like everyone else? Why are they climbing the snake? And it's like, they're then viewing that snake like, you know, like snakes and ladders. I see everyone climbing up the ladder. Oh my god, this is actually really interesting, right? I'm being shown a game of snakes and ladders, and you know how the rules are, you climb up the ladder, but if you land on a snake, you have to go down the snake. I'm being shown everybody playing that, and then you're going, right, I'll play this if you want, but I'm going to play it my way. Oh, I've just landed on a snake, at the tail end of a snake, I'm going to go up it. And then people are going, oh my god, no, you're so silly, you're not meant to climb up the snake. And it's like, where's the rules? Am I going to get arrested if I climb up the snake? And then it's like, yeah, but that's not the game. And you're like, I'm not playing the game. I'm doing, you know what I mean? I'm not playing the game. I'm just here for a fun time. And I see you guys moving up the snake then. And then people are like, oh, and I feel like you add your own twist to things that people are like, oh, silly. but I feel like that also protects you in a way, because it's like what you're coming with then, people that might have wanted to take that or be ignorant or play about with it, it's like it protects you. Whereas the people that see like you, it's like, that's great, I'm gonna climb up that snake too. And they're able to get your language. I think you're really intelligent. I think you see things really, really interesting, and you're way more tapped in than you realize. And you have really good ideas. Very intelligent. Very intelligent souls. But there's something about you where whatever it is that you're good at as well, people may not understand that or see that when they first meet you, except for the people that are already in the know. You know, like I don't know, I'm picking up like a secret society. It's like, oh my god, like Harry Potter and the Fantastic Beasts, like they're wizards, you know what I mean? Like I'm being shown that, and then I'm being shown like muggles, and then muggles not being able to fully see. You know how Hogwarts and Harry Potter has got like a veil over it that the muggles can't see? Hogwarts and the castle, there's something like that. Like there's something Neptunian about how people are viewing you, but the right people see you and get it. People have to adjust to something to be able to see you, because you reside in an energy that a lot of people might not have uncovered within themselves. Could be very connected to spirit, you guys could be. Let's pull some more. I think it keeps you safe and it keeps you protected, and I think it keeps, the more you listen to it, I feel like the right people then come in for you. Pile number 3. Pile number 3. Some of you guys may be into science as well. I just got shown, it's from the Bratz movie actually, Jade. And people don't think she's going to be intelligent because she's like, you know, the Bratz movie is a little bit like misogynistic, to be honest with you, but they don't think that Jade's going to be intelligent because she's like a fashionista, and she ends up being very intelligent, and is like all the boys, and they're like, oh my god, because she's like doing potions together as if women can't have both. Like there's a feeling of that. You may as well be very attractive, and people may think, oh, that's all there is, and project that onto you. It's like, if you've ever heard of Madison Beer, she's a singer, and a lot of people don't like her or really listen to her music. I don't know why. A lot of people kind of see her as a bit of like an Instagram model. Honestly, her music's very good. Very, very good. And I've watched a couple of interviews recently because I've really liked her new album, and she's, I don't know, I just think she's very cool, and she's not what a lot of people had projected or made me believe through like interviews and people speaking about her, because people kind of give her a bit of a hard time. She's actually really nice, and I liked watching a couple of her interviews and hearing about her album, and I feel like people have that vibe with you, but I do feel as well you guys are just very attractive as well. So people may just put you in somewhere where it's like, oh, that person's just attractive and that's it, that's their trait, and it's like, no, you're way more than that. But I also think that protects you in a way. Something about that too. Pile number 3. Pile number 3, please. We have the we have the shield. You are safe from harm. You may be Scorpio risings, Cancer risings. It's like a shell protecting something, you know. You are safe from harm. Pile number 3. Follow your intuition. The seer. Yeah. And the moons. Look at the, like, well, it's not moons, but it's like circles that look like the moons, because it looks like this, look. With all the astrological signs. So it's like moving from one phase to the next, one phase to the next, and then we have like the moon phases here. I feel like you move through different phases, and I feel like people have seen you in different phases and thought, oh, you know, why are you in this energy, or why are you in that energy? But you're growing in that energy, which is actually needed for maybe your career or for your life mission or for you to just grow in general. I feel like that's how you're able to see things from all these different perspectives. Pile number 3, but their version of life could be different. So it's like, well, why are you moving that way? And it's like I'll move in whatever way I'm called to, because it's like my feet are rooted into the ground and I'm like following that, like just around the river bend Pocahontas, like I'm moving my own. You're like my Pocahontas, Moana pile, you know, how far I'll go. I want to go further than this, you know, that's the vibe that you guys have. Pile number, like Alice, I probably described you as Alice in Wonderland ago. Pile number 3's final card, please, for guides. The Sun. Your perseverance is rewarded. I feel like you either already have or you will take very big strides or leaps. Like you could decide, I'm going to move here. And people are like, why would you go and move there? But you're intuitively called there. And what's interesting is, you know, I said you're very tapped in and rooted in. Sometimes in like REM state, when I'm falling asleep, I just get random visualizations. And I've been shown by spirit a lot of the times, like human beings beforehand. And I was shown like tribes of souls relocating and moving to different places on Earth. They were called there. They were intuitively called there. They felt Earth calling them somewhere. They moved somewhere. And I would see massive tribes of people before there were phones, before there was texts, before there were maps. And it's like, I'm being called here. I'm going to follow it. This is like back in the day. Because I remember being part of like a tribe and there was a very big rock. And we were walking along a kind of beach. But we all had this clairvoyant image in our head of when we see the rock, we're going to be there. And we found the rock and we were like, oh, you know, that's where we're meant to be. And it was like a tribe of us. And when I say tribe, there's about 500 of us just all walking together. So I think it's interesting that when I tap into you and you're like, oh, I want to move here, I want to relocate here, or even something simple like, I want to move my bedroom around, I want to move my kitchen around, I want to move my garden around, like, I want to put this element in this corner. Like, you're listening to a frequency. You're not away with the clouds or whatever. You're listening to a frequency. You're listening to an energy. That's what you're tapping into, you know? Yeah. Back of the deck we have the Queen, love and prosperity. You dance to the beat of your own drum. I feel very, you listen to your own, you know, your own drum, and it's really interesting. I'm hearing that song from Pocahontas, Steady as the beating drum. I'm hearing that at the beginning of the film. I feel like in past lives, I'm being taken to past lives now. I feel like in past lives you were like decoders, astrologers, you know, like how they created like the pyramids everywhere in all different places and stuff. I feel like you would have had a hand in that in past lives. I feel like you also worked with the earth a lot. I'm seeing like the wind going in this direction, so we've got to go here. This is going this direction, we've got to go here. You pick up on things. That's why we have follow your intuition. I also feel like you move through your own phases and cycles, which may be different to other people's phases and cycles. So you may find that like everyone could be like, oh, it's the full moon in Virgo, or the full moon in Aquarius, or the full moon in whatever, and this is going to happen, or it's Lionsgate, or it's the 7/7 portal, and this is going to happen, and you just don't resonate. I feel like you listen to your own frequencies. That's why I feel like you're tapped into your own frequencies. Like, yeah, I can see an energy like that happening, but I'm being called elsewhere. You know, when people are like, oh, we need to manifest because of this, you're like, actually, no, I need to rest. And I feel like it may be different, but I feel like it's because you're listening to your own vibe, and I think that's going to help you through life in accomplishing what you need to get accomplished. And I feel like when people like the hair are like, haha, and like, you know, whatever, please continue being the Taught Artist, because I feel like not only does some people not being able to see your vision protect your vision and you, but I think as time goes on, people look back and be like, oh, you know, it's like the Taught Artist moment where the Taught Artist wins and the hair's like, oh, I see you're gonna have a lot of instances like that if they haven't already happened, because I think even like you'll move towards career paths and like artistic ideas, and I feel like people will be like, why are they still doing this, or why are they still doing that? Because it's like they can't see your vision. But with your perseverance is rewarded, you're seeing what people might not be able to see. So intelligent, I feel like so tapped in. That's what it is. You're tapped in. You know, like how animals are tapped in and they're like, oh, storm's coming, I'm gonna like, you know, the cats are gonna like climb and do parkour all over the house and you know, jump around and swing off the chandeliers. I feel like you're able to know things like that. I'm not saying you're running around the house, you know, standing on the ceiling like, yeah, you know, like doing cartwheels. You might, but I feel like you're just able to be aware, like, oh, you know, storm's coming, I got a migraine, I can feel the friction. Like, I feel like you're tapped in that way because you were in other lives, I feel. Yeah, so pile number 3, that is what I have for you guys. I really hope that you enjoyed the reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, and hopefully I'll see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching. Hey powerful, welcome to your reading. So you guys chose the Sweet Like Candy perfume. I'm gonna start with tarot and then we'll move into the oracle cards. And yeah, I'm going to be hyping you up for the next 20 to 25 minutes. So sit back, chill, and let's get in. So pile number 4, please, spirit guides, the Sweet Like Candy pile. Tap me into the collective of my pile number 4s. I do want to say, I feel like people feel like you're a bit of a joy to be around. I'm not going to lie. A very spring vibe I'm getting here. You know, like when it's been winter for some time and spring comes and the sun comes in and mornings start to get a bit more warmer, you can start having maybe a breakfast outside if you want, and all the little baby chicks are coming and the baby everything is coming, and you know, it's like all, you know, the babies are out and it's spring and the flowers are budding, and you know you've got like all of spring and all of summer in front of you, and it's like life's good. Life suddenly has meaning again. That's the vibe I felt tapping into your energy. So let me just ego boost you there, that you were just a very warm, inviting and lovely presence. And I'm saying that to you here. You're just a very, and do you want to know what it is as well? I feel like you make people feel very cozy, and I feel like you guys may be a bit artistic because I feel like you guys are very like aesthetically pleasing. Like, I feel like if I went to your home, it would be very cozy. I feel like you'd have the right snacks. I feel like I'm being shown like somebody's living room, and like, let's say it's Christmas and it's decorated really nice and everything's just very put together and nice, and I feel that way. And you don't have to be that way, but I just feel like some of you guys may be very big on aesthetics and vibes, whether it's for your social media, your clothes, your home, or just making that experience for people maybe on their birthdays. You know, it could be like party planners and things like that, or it could just be your vibe in general. You just feel very warm. I feel good. Yeah, that's how I feel coming into your energy. I'll give you another example of how you feel. You know when you clean your home, you clean your living room and everything's put together and neat, and then you light a candle. That's the vibe you bring. Immaculate vibes. I'm also smelling shea butter. You may wear shea butter like lotion and stuff. You feel put together. Even if you don't feel put together, I feel like you always look put together. Or people you just come across as put together. Like, I see somebody being around you and then going home inspired and like writing a to-do list of what they've got to do to glow up the next day. Whether it's glow up in career, fitness, looks, you know, just getting things together, getting their hair, the way you do your hair. I feel like people do that. Or peep your Instagram, or see, maybe you have like YouTube, you do vlogs or something. And it's like, no, I'm gonna put myself together because this person's got themselves together. It could be in another layer. It could even be like from a spiritual perspective. You know, you could be very connected to spirit, connected to source, really on it like that. And people be like, I want to be connected like that. And I want to put myself together. I see people walking away from you, taking notes and writing a list and going, yeah, because I want to feel put together, you know, like I said, the clean house, the candle, it's like, I want to feel like you make me feel, but I want to feel that way myself. You make me inspired to be better. It's just the way you come across. I just think it's your vibe. Similar to, because I picked it up for, I think it was pile number 2. I said some of you guys may smell very nice. Similar with you guys. You may because what I'm smelling is like a distinct smell. You know, like the Cloud perfume, the Ariana Cloud perfume, and it's like a replica of, I think it's called like Barocat Rouge or something like that. You may wear one of those fragrances, or you may wear a fragrance or a scent or like a body lotion or like a body spray that is very fresh, but it's something that people don't know about. Like, you always have to put people onto things. Like, you have your own, I think you're very unique, and I feel like similar to Pal One, you're like a trendsetter, but I feel like you put people onto things. Like, I'd go over your home and you'd have like a really cool gadget that I've never heard of, and it's not even like something that's even trending, and it's like, oh yeah, like I use this, and you like put people on in that way. Or you may have like a cheat in regards to like how to style hair, or like do makeup, or have your home like a certain way or whatever, and it's like you put people on. That's the only way I can describe it. Some of you guys may wear like vintage things, so like fine pieces that are like hidden, or vintage pieces, or like one of a kind. You may make your own clothes, because there's something about that as well where it's like unique. I just keep wanting to say the vibes are immaculate here. I don't know. So pile number 4. Yeah, you know, like how you chose the celebrity fragrance, which is the Ariana fragrance. And I always say with celebrities, like, you could be the best singer, you could be like a good actress, but there's some people that just have star power because of the way that they look, the style that they have, or the way they present themselves, like a Rihanna, or a Harry Styles, or a give me somebody, who has that star power look vibe? Who have we got? Like, give me someone. Why is my mind gone blank? David Bowie just came to mind. Like, you just put things together and it's so you. And I feel like people get inspired by that. I feel like people like that. I feel like you have a star power. Like, I feel like you'd be the type to be the Beyonce of the Destiny's Child. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like just because you have the star power, it's like you've got a star on your forehead. You stick out. You're innovative. You're creative. You own your energy. Like, I don't know. It's just what I'm getting. Pile number... You know how sometimes in like a TV show they'll push a star, but it's always the stars on the side that get the most clout? Like, I always say that, like with Victorious, and they pushed, if you've never watched Victorious, there's basically about 5 or 6, I can't remember, kids in like an art school, and it's like a sitcom on Nickelodeon, and there's this one girl who's like got a good voice, she can sing, she can dance, very attractive, and she's pushed as like the main girly, so naturally everyone's going, oh, her career is going to take off, she's going to be one of the new teeny poppers or whatever. But all of the main characters on that show were so unique that they were more fan favorited over the main character, because she was always pushed and she was just very stereotypical main character, whereas all the other characters had their own style. One of them had bright red hair, that was Ariana Grande. Then there was the one that had like the jet black hair with the colors. Then there was like the cool guy. Then there was the guy, and he was like really quirky and he made music. Like, they all stood out over the main pop girly because they had like a style and they had something to them. There was like a quirkiness, and obviously the most quirkiest one with like a style, which was the one that Ariana Grande played. Ariana then became very famous, hence we have her fragrance right here. So I feel like you have that kind of star power there. Like, you're like the Harry Styles of the One Direction. You are the I want to say Camila Cabello of the Fifth Harmony, but I almost feel like Normani stands out way more, or the Lyran girl. Lyran, I don't know how to say her last name and I don't want to butcher it. I feel like they stand out more. But you know how Camila was like pushed at the beginning? Yeah, I feel like you guys are like the star that's then pushed, like the Beyonce. Yeah, you're one of those. We have the Ace of Pentacles. Yeah, you've got the sauce. I'm gonna ego boost you there. You've got the sauce, you've got the star power. I think it's just your aura. It's your aura. You know, like when people say about Rihanna, like, she doesn't, the clothes don't wear her, she wears the clothes, sort of thing. And it's not, people say as well, I've seen people on Twitter say, it's not fashionable until Rihanna wears it. Like, you've got that vibe. You're kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie. I'm hearing Meg Thee Stallion's song Her. We have the Devil. We have the Knight of Wands. And one more. I feel like you get people trying to mimic you a bit. Five of Cups as well. Yeah, I feel like you've had people try and mimic you. But like I always say, people line up to see the original Mona Lisa, not the fake one. So that's all I need to say there, to be honest with you. Because I do feel like people try and mimic you, but what's actually giving you this like star power, this aura, is your energy, your vibrancy, and your authenticity as well. And because of that, it's not what you're wearing, what you're doing, what you're saying, how you're designing clothes or the fragrances. It's not that. It's you. It's all of it. It's the formula, you know. It's not the buns, it's not the lettuce, it's not the tomato, it's all of it. It's the aura, it's the intention that went into it, you know. That's what it is. So if you do get people that try and mimic sometimes, don't worry, because it's like I always say, you have your own specific coding and energy. It genuinely can't be mimicked at all. I feel like you really listen to yourself. I also feel like you're not the type to kind of follow trends, not in the sense of like, oh, I'm going against the grain or I'm going against the trends. It's not that. It's out of just like, well, I'm just following what I like. This is the thing, you know yourself. You might not have always known yourself, but you know yourself now. You know your likes, you know your dislikes, you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses. You know all of that, so you play to it. You know how people say with like makeup, like knowing your face and knowing your features and knowing how to expand on certain features, that's the game changer for makeup. And then, so say now you have like very big eyes and you like do a certain makeup for your specific eye. It makes your eyes look a certain way, whereas someone with completely different eyes could look and be like, oh, I want to look like that, and try and do it and it wouldn't look right, because it's like you've tailored your own frequency. It doesn't have to be makeup or hair. You've tailored your own energy to, this works for me. I'm really good in these environments. I'm really good maybe when I work for myself. I'm really good in these type of jobs. I'm really good when I wear this fragrance. Like, I know what works with my skin chemistry. I know my skincare. I know all of this. So it's like you're given that, you know, it could be that you have everything put together, but then also, even if you don't feel that way, it looks put together because you know yourself. You know what I mean? I don't drink that, I drink this because this is good for my gut health, and I've studied gut health. I eat this because it makes me full of energy. And I know that because I listen to my body, and I know, you know, I'm not trying to follow anyone's wave. Yes, those shoes are trending right now, but they do nothing for me, so I wear these. And that's what I'm talking about, star power with celebrities. Like Ariana with a ponytail and her knee highs, like she knew what she was comfortable in and what worked for her. She did it. Rihanna knew what she was comfortable in and what worked for her. She did it. Like, and that's what we see is Harry Styles, you know, whoever, like David Bowie that was coming through. I don't know why I just gosh on Neo, like there's like a vibe, and it's their thing, because it's like they know what works for them, they know that signature for them, and it's like it's put together. And no matter how many people are walking around with ponytails, or how many people are like dyeing their hair red to be like Rihanna from the Loud era, or how many people are trying to be like David Bowie, it's not the same, you know. Like there's never been another Michael Jackson, there's never been another Beyonce. They knew what worked for them. Michael Jackson knew he could ace a moonwalk, and he knew his vibe, and he perfected it. And I feel like you guys know who you are, and you perfect that. So you give off star power. That's what I'm picking up with the Hermit at the back of the deck. You listen to yourself. You move and dance to the beat of your own drum, and you listen to your intuition. What if the Devil? Ace of Pentacles and then the Devil. How do we have that? You make things look very easy, because I just think, like, I'm being shown the Ace of Pentacles with the roots going all the way down, and then all of a sudden it goes into the Devil. It's like you might have had to build yourself up from nothing, and that's what gives you this drive. That's what gives you this certain perspective. Maybe you've had to go through certain experiences, or maybe, like I'm saying, maybe there was a time period where you didn't know yourself this deeply. And maybe you've gone through certain triggers or certain woundings where you've had to go down to your roots and find out who you truly are in those depths. And that's why you know yourself so deeply. And that's why people can't mimic X, Y, and Z, because it's like your journey's tailored to you. I keep being shown somebody like knowing what they like, standing in it in a light way, people getting triggered, shining the light on somebody's shade, people projecting onto that person so they hide what it is they like, or they forget what it is that they like, but then going back through their own darkness and going back to their root, and then it's almost like balancing that energy out. So it's like when people now try to knock me off my pedestal, or people try and wave me off my own flow, or people try and tell me that I shouldn't wear this or I shouldn't do this, I'm able to see it before it comes. You can't tell me about myself, I already know myself. You can't tell me about my weaknesses, I already know my weaknesses. You can't tell me about my strengths, I already know my strengths. Like, you can't tell me about me, I know me. I love this for you guys, actually. This is really, really interesting. And do you see how the dents on this bottle? It's like, yeah, I've been through certain experiences. You know what I mean? I've fallen back. I've met my shadow. I've been in, you know, I've been through phases where I didn't know myself truly, where I didn't know what worked for me, or what clothes worked for me, or what makeup worked for me. I learned, like, there's this feeling of that, like a lot of growth. It's really, really interesting. I also just see everything around me feels tailored to who I am. Everything around me does. You may have like a very beautiful home, and each room is like an aspect of your personality. Or you may change up your style a lot. Like one day you could be very feminine, and the next day you could be very masculine, and then the next day you could be very like sporty, and then rock, and like, you know, like, and they're all different aspects of your personality, but you know how to make it work for you. You know how celebrities, they keep to their signature sound, but they add new flavors in, but it's still their sound? I feel like you can do that. You can mold into certain things, keeping the roots pure. It's quite interesting. But that's what I mean, like, everything's immaculate. Like, you know the nail color that suits you, or you know the jewelry that suits you, you know your everything. It's like everything. I know what coffee suits me. Like, I know what I like, and everything that I like. I don't care what's trending, I just do what I like. And then it's cool, because it's like trend setting. It's like Regina from Mean Girls. It's like, I want to be like you. But the reason you do it is not because you were trying to be like anyone, it was because you were listening to yourself. I feel like there may have been moments where you did maybe dance to the beat of others' drum, and that's how you learned. I feel like you went through a phase in your life where you learned what you didn't like. You learned the type of people you might not want to be around. You learned your own darkness and your own shadow through experience, you know? My hair does not look good that way. I do not bloom around these type of people. You know, it's that sort of thing. Like, you know who you bloom around, and you like what you like. Because I'm being shown the Knight of Wands here. She's like dancing to her own song, and then the horse in the background represent freedom. Like, you know, and now I looked at other people, because I'm hearing that song, I think it's Madonna or Kylie Minogue, I should be so lucky, 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 or I could be so lucky, I don't know. People look at you like everything comes easy and that it's luck. I don't think it is. I think you just learn to go with the flow and listen to yourself, and you grow through certain experiences, which is why we have that freedom here, because it's like, I don't care what anyone else is saying about me, whatever. And then the Five of Cups here, I do feel like you have learned through trial and error as well, because there's some wisdom there, you know? There's some wisdom. Yeah, you know your likes, your dislikes. You know what makes you go into your shell. You know what makes you pop out your shell. You know what doesn't register with you. You know what does, and that's why people look up to you. You know when you have like an older sibling, and they're cool because they have all the things you don't have, and it's cool. I feel like people look up to you like that, like the older sibling. I want that because you have that. I want this because you have this. I do feel like people look at you like that. Let's pull your oracle cards. Pile number I think you're just a bright light as well, because I do think you encourage other people to express their own uniqueness as well. Like, I feel like you're the type to be like, your eyebrows would look good like this, or this scent would really suit you, or this color palette suits you, or you should do this in regards to this career because you're really good at doing this. You're really intelligent in regards to doing this. You should tweak this. Like, you're very good at that. And I think people look up to you for like your expertise and stuff like that as well. People do respect what you have to say because people are aware in that aspect. I keep being shown someone, if you dress extra, please keep doing that. I keep being shown somebody like dressing really cool, and then somebody being like, why are you dressing like that here? Why not? Why can't you? You know? Like, why can't you? Why would you like save your best stuff to get dusty on your shelf? Like, I don't think you do anymore, but I think in the past you might dress quite extravagantly, and then people will be like, why are you wearing that here? Why are you dressed like that here? No, keep doing that, please, because I feel like that's how you express yourself. Maybe you're coming back to that, finding pieces, because you see how the cups are all over the floor, finding pieces of light. Do you see how the cups got like this light? Finding pieces of light again. So it's like, I feel like you've gone on a journey of maybe losing yourself to find yourself. So it's like, now I know both ends of the spectrum. Pile number... Oh, your cards came out all together. That's cool. We have the Knight, triumph over adversity. We have the Wyvern, your secrets are safe. I hope I said that correctly. The Wyvern. And we have the Stars, a long journey brings rewards. Yeah, you're like a star. You know, like they say celebrities are like stars, can't touch it. Like, that's a vibe you give. I'm not gonna lie. You may even be famous. You may even be Ariana Grande. We also have the Raven at the back of the deck. Darkness looms on the horizon. Interesting. Why do we have the Raven at the back of the deck? Darkness looms on the horizon. Oh, people are trying to knock you off your pedestal. It's like, I'm not comfortable expressing myself. You can't be either. Or maybe if you've gone through a transformation of activating this within you, people try to hold on to the old version where you were hidden, you know? Because you see how she's clutching the skull? It's quite interesting. You might have gone through a big transformation in regards to your confidence and stepping into your power and reclaiming who you are. Maybe you were always very bright, and then people kind of try to stand, and, you know, because the sun is a star, you know? So I feel like people have tried to stamp on that. I'm hearing Can't Be Tamed by Miley Cyrus. You're always going to find your way back though, because I feel like you're your own person. I feel like you're bright. But I feel like people have tried to stop you from shining like that. Why do you have your secrets are safe? Do you know what I will say as well? You're very loyal and very genuine like that. Do you know what you remind me of? I've never actually watched the show Euphoria, but the character on there, Alexia, and I was watching like a clip, and she was talking to what was a friend, I think, and she was like, her vibe gave very like big sister vibes, and she was saying to the person like, even if you don't feel confident, you can fake it because like no one will know. And she was giving like really good advice there, and there was just like a genuinity there, and I feel like people do see you as very genuine and very loyal. Like, this is a very loyal person. This is somebody that's very genuine. I can trust this person. That's one thing that I feel like people couldn't, you know, say any different about. Triumph over adversity. Yeah, I feel like you've had to overcome insecurities, or you shun your light and then people try to tag you and put a cloak over you, and then you blasted it off when you felt ready. I see that's a journey you've been on, which is why we've got these little dents here, because when I was looking at the dents, I was hearing Angel by Halle, where she sings, I'm a masterpiece even in my scars. So I feel like you've learned from experiences, and it's like, yeah, that made me who I am, so that's me. And, you know, and I love that. I really love that. You're a star, powerful. That's me hyping you up. You're a star. You are the sun. Yeah, so that's what I have for you guys, powerful. I really hope that you enjoyed your reading. Hit the thumbs up and comment down below if you did. I'm sending you guys all of my love. I hope you have a beautiful morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you guys are watching, and hopefully I will see you guys in my next video. So thank you guys for watching.